We now observe the castle where the queen, the biological mother of our protagonist Haruto, resides. Her knights have come to inform her about a new threat that goes by the name of the Black Knight. This might be the same group of bandits they previously encountered. Upon hearing this news, the expression on the queen's face changes. She looks like a true soldier, genuinely at a loss for words. This marks their third failed attempt to eliminate Haruto's sister, the girl named Charlotte Semphise. If they can't eliminate her soon, she will become a threat. Apparently, an individual known as the Black Knight is attempting to obstruct their plans. They'll have to make him pay for this interference. She plans to use the same sword she used to defeat the Demon King, challenging him directly. At that moment, a voice questions whether she's willing to fight against the Black Knight, and he employs his magical cubes to immobilize the soldiers. Our protagonist, the Black Knight, arrives on the scene. The queen asks him how he managed to breach their defenses, considering they had multiple barriers in place. Haruto wasn't aware that those protective measures were called barriers. For clarification, he just dismantled them. With this action, the queen confirms his identity as the Black Knight. She's determined to stop him and promises a reward for his defeat. Haruto realizes that he can trap a water sphere by creating a triple magic circle. The woman warns him that if he doesn't move, he'll quickly drown. Our protagonist summons a magical cube to escape from the sphere's confinement. However, while in midair, the woman counters with her own magic attack. In response, Haruto conjures another protective barrier to deflect her attack. Reacting swiftly, she changes her tactic and hurls fireballs towards him. The fiery projectiles manage to breach his defenses, causing him to plummet to the ground. She remarks that it seems the Black Knight isn't as special as he appeared to be. Haruto interjects, mentioning that the sword he wields is versatile, capable of harnessing different elements. It's proving to be quite a challenge. Puzzled by his resilience, the woman wonders how he can withstand such a barrage of attacks. She is surprised he didn't even flinch when facing the fireballs. She questions the composition of his body. Just then, Haruto takes a hit and she reacts swiftly by shielding herself. Confused by the sudden impact, she exclaims, "What was that lightning?" Despite successfully blocking the attack, the force of impact catches her off guard. Haruto seizes the moment, informing her that it's time to get serious. He launches multiple bursts of magic at her, asserting his immense magical prowess. She's nearly depleted her magic reserves from constantly blocking his assaults. This unexpected strength catches her off guard. Knowing the situation requires swift action, Haruto isn't giving up. She draws her sword to counter his attacks, but he wields the sacred sword. She launches a barrage of strikes, eventually overpowering him and slamming him to the ground. Her sword is considered the world's strongest. Its superiority is unmatched. However, in a surprising turn of events, Haruto reveals his true identity. He extends his sword towards her and releases it, displaying a bold gesture. Now, it's time for her to face consequences. Haruto places a magical chain around her neck, leaving her baffled and humiliated. Perplexed, she demands an explanation for the chain. Haruto calmly explains that removing the magical chain will result in her neck snapping. The shock of this revelation leaves her unable to comprehend the situation. Haruto emphasizes that he isn't concerned about her plans. He makes a clear request: she must never approach his territory or family again. He won't offer forgiveness. As long as she wears the chain, she understands the consequences of disobedience. With his message conveyed, Haruto bids her farewell, leaving her overwhelmed by frustration and a sense of defeat. It's surprising how someone who appeared so regal ended up like a slave. I think Haruto might have been a bit excessive, but Flay holds a different opinion. She believes Haruto did an excellent job, and he didn't even need Flay's help. Haruto points out that this should keep her quiet for a while, but he warns that he won't be as lenient if there's a next time. Flay feels a sense of pride as if she had foreseen this outcome. She's eagerly awaiting the next promotion. The story then takes a significant leap of 5 years ahead. We find the trio enjoying the snowy season. Haruto reveals that his tactics to deter the queen have been effective. They haven't faced any disturbances from her since. 5 years have elapsed, and Haruto is on the verge of turning 15. His sister had wanted to visit the northern land, but he wasn't prepared for the extreme cold. He's eager to return to more comfortable surroundings. Charlotte draws Haruto's attention to something she's created, a snowman. Haruto explains that she has become quite the otaku. Charlotte is amazed by the incredible snow castle Flay built, noting its resemblance to her father's castle. Haruto adds a wry comment, expressing how these rules often render things rather pointless. Curiously, he questions Flay's attire, wondering if she is feeling cold. Flay retorts with an assertion that this outfit is her master's favorite, and she wouldn't consider wearing anything else. In short, she's sticking to her signature look, despite shivering due to the cold. Haruto then generously creates a coat to warm her up, deflecting her attempt to ask for 10 wishes. Charlotte doesn't let this opportunity slip, sharing her desire for a new special technique tailored for snowy days. However, she admits her current inability to execute it, putting her trust in her brother's capabilities. Despite his concerns, he agrees to help her out, driven by his bond with his sister. In an attempt to impress Charlotte and Flay, Haruto activates his powers and strikes dynamic poses reminiscent of the Black Knight. His demonstration results in a large hole in the ground, leaving Charlotte impressed and Klein marveling at his incredible power. Haruto himself thinks his actions look somewhat absurd, but the joy he brings to his sister outweighs any embarrassment. Amid their interactions, their parents arrive and question the origin of a conspicuous hole in the ground. Recognizing the potential danger if his true identity were revealed, Haruto quickly devises a plausible explanation. He attributes the hole to the enigmatic Black Knight, concocting a story about the figure showcasing their skills. While Haruto's tale is entirely fabricated, his father doesn't probe further, accepting the explanation without hesitation. As the girls engage in building a snow castle, Haruto seizes the opportunity to ask his father about recent developments. His father informs him that nothing major has occurred recently, aside from the Queen seemingly withdrawing from their affairs. The Queen's public appearances have significantly dwindled, sparking rumors that she has taken to wearing a slave collar, an unexpected shift in behavior. At first, they thought the slave collar was a stylish choice, but later they assumed it was accidentally put on and couldn't be removed. Alternatively, someone might have intentionally placed it there. Notably, he remains tight-lipped about the collar. The silver lining is that now he can relish a peaceful existence, unburdened by the meddling of that woman from the kingdom. This means he can finally enjoy tranquility, spending his time playing Fortnite. However, his father shared some news. Starting from spring, he'll have to attend the Royal Capital School. This revelation hits him hard. Although he initially believed he could decline the offer, he eventually couldn't refuse. More details about this will be discussed later. Gold advises him against it, considering the extremely high standards of the cursed school, surpassing even the royal capital itself. He finds it hard to believe. Why does his desired peaceful life always elude him? There's always a hurdle. He suspects this might be another challenge along his journey. Regardless, giving up is not an option. He can't let circumstances crush him. He just wants to be a dedicated Fortnite player. Later, he engages in a calm conversation with his father. Haruto's past experience with the school makes him apprehensive about attending. In his previous life, it was a nightmarish place. His father discloses that he initially opposed sending him there. However, due to the current situation, he felt compelled to accept a direct recommendation from the Solar King himself. Haruto ponders why his biological father is showing interest in him. Perhaps it's connected to his daughter, Princess Marion. Haruto recalls that the Solar Kingdom never denies her requests, making the scenario plausible. He's intrigued by his sister's motivation for wanting him to attend the elite school. He doubts his ability to thrive in such an environment. Further, his father informs him that Prince Leo, coded as unleashing a cat, will become a non-student. His father envisions them studying together and contributing to the kingdom's growth as friends. Haruto questions why he's facing these circumstances. He simply desires to stay home and rest. Incidentally, his father reveals his unease, even though the Queen's activities have diminished. He suspects a hidden agenda involving her and her daughter. He believes it's an opportunity for his son to experience a broader world. Despite being comfortable within his room, his father emphasizes the necessity of social interaction for deeper understanding. It may seem coercive, but Haruto can't deny the man who raised him. At that moment, Haruto asks his father if it would be problematic if they declined. His father agrees that it would be, and in that case, there's no choice but to accept. He informs Haruto that, in order to help him focus on studying, they will need to select a servant to accompany him. It would be strange to travel to an unfamiliar land without any company. Haruto acknowledges his father's point, considering Flay as a possible option. However, he realizes that bringing Flay along might create more complications. His father intends to assign some individuals, but Haruto asks him to hold off. His mother enters the conversation, suggesting that she accompanies him. Ever the caring mother, she's been eavesdropping from behind and is willing to do anything to take care of Haruto. However, he dismisses the idea, finding it even stranger to bring one of his parents along. His father reminds him that there are still 3 months before classes begin, so he'll have to make a decision by then. Despite overhearing Haruto's conversation with his father about attending, it doesn't mean Haruto himself will be present. He plans to inform his father through one of his duplicates, hoping to convince the duplicate to take his place at school. The duplicate understands and agrees. At least that's what Haruto wanted him to say, but he knows his duplicate doesn't want to go either. They both know Haruto is using this as a way out. Haruto is not surprised by the response, stating that the next plan was to act as if the duplicate can't use magic. The duplicate cautions that they would quickly realize he's useless if he can't use magic, and the prestigious school won't allow a weak candidate to remain. They have to be cautious about one thing: the excuse for expulsion. If he's expelled due to insufficient magical talent, it would reflect poorly on the king, suggesting a poor recommendation. This would put his father in a difficult situation. The duplicate questions why he doesn't just duel. Haruto explains that using his barrier magic might lead to accidental harm, something he wants to avoid. This annoys the duplicate because Haruto thinks it would be fine if the duplicate got hurt. The duplicate can indeed feel pain. Haruto acknowledges that something could happen, but he can always replace the duplicate with another one. The duplicate knew Haruto had thought of this and asks how many duplicates were discarded before him. Haruto clarifies that it's a joke, although he did consider it initially, but his sister ended up stopping him. Despite dismissing the idea of going to that school, Haruto's duplicate still doesn't want to attend. He's unwilling to continue being subservient to that kind of life. To reassure the duplicate, Haruto makes a promise. He offers to cast a magical barrier to prevent the duplicate's body from getting hurt. He's only asking for this one favor. Haruto's plan is to copy himself so the duplicate can enjoy life at home. The duplicate agrees, as he also prefers the comfort of home. After finalizing their agreement, Haruto goes to a log cabin by the lakeside. He explains that he has been living here luxuriously while the duplicate remains at the castle. Building the cabin took 5 years, but it's a perfect place to rest. Here, he can spend his entire day playing Fortnite. The only occasional interruptions are visits from his sister, who comes to watch anime with him. Over time, Charlotte has become a big fan of magical girl shows. Haruto asks Charlotte why she stopped visiting his room in the castle. He thought she had grown tired of anime. Charlotte explains that her studies have intensified recently, and she's no longer allowed access to her room for anime viewing. If not for Haruto, she wouldn't be able to come here at all. Haruto sympathizes with her, recognizing how tiring it must be. He suggests using his magic to transport her, demonstrating a barrier that can pass through an apple. It seems to work over long distances, although he hasn't tested it on humans yet. Flay's name comes up, implying there might be some uncertainty or hesitance about trying it on her. He almost failed to fulfill his request. Then, he opened a portal that connected to his duplicate's room. He simply wanted to ask his duplicate for a favor. He requested that the duplicate walk through the portal to reach him. The duplicate hesitated. He knew what Haruto was thinking. He seemed overly confident. Perhaps he was concerned about ending up in a different dimension. In response, Haruto teased him, suggesting that he might be scared of ending up somewhere else. Playfully, Flay demonstrated by jumping into the portal, surprising the duplicate and causing him to be pulled in as well. Haruto complimented the duplicate's response, while Charlotte expressed worry for the duplicate. In this way, a portal was successfully created, connecting both rooms and allowing easy movement between the castle and the duplicate's room. However, an important detail still needed attention. They hadn't decided who would become the servant. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more anime videos.